Gonna build a mountain from a little hill.
Evening folks, this is Best in Slot with a little update for Planet Zoo, because yesterday on the 29th of August a new developer diary was published for the game, and of course it revealed a pretty adorable new animal, but that's not all. We also got a great glimpse at some other until now unseen aspects of the game, so let's cover what was brought up in that diary and we'll take a little look at a newest animal arriving in the zoo as we go as well. Let's go. The first couple of minutes of the video don't really give us anything new. A few people say piece by piece, which I assume at this point is like this cult-esque mantra that Frontier devs have to say before even being allowed in the building in the morning, but really we just get some nice shots of elephants and an African style zoo. Speaking of Africa though, we finally get a proper look at the themes shortly after. Themes in Planet Zoo are basically collections of items and building pieces that all share a common aesthetic. We knew there was a British style one and an African style one so far, though as the video says the British one also has some French influences as well. What we hadn't seen though was this one, the North American theme, a much more modern take on zoo design with a lot of wood, a lot of curved glass and just modern lines in general. We don't quite get to see it in-game yet, but I'm a big fan of this style personally, more so than the British one we've seen a lot of so far. And I know I'm blaspheming my own country, but the North American one really does look cool. Hopefully we get some more North American, and indeed European in general, animals to kind of bump up these themes a bit more. They also show off the core theme a little bit, which is just a very basic set of grey bricks and stuff like that. Just tools that should fit in with every other theme in the game. Now whether those 4 themes are the only 4 themes at release does remain to be seen, but even alpha build of the game, which lacked both the African and the North American themes anyway, was filled with items and possibilities, so regardless I do think we're going to have a lot of creative options. This is also though a really nice area for expansion down the line. Theme packs of say 50 to 100 items based on different climates or regions of the globe. If you're going to release a Arctic theme pack of animals with penguins and polar bears and stuff like that, I know they live in different regions, that's not my point, you could also release a theme alongside it in a bigger pack and give us polar themed items. After a little bit more talking and some nice shots of the animals climbing around their habitats, we get to see our brand new animal, the Aardvark. The African roster in this game is humongous. Anyways, here they are, adorable, weird little Aardvarks. Design wise, these are pretty spot on in my opinion. I don't really have a problem with them at all, other than my fairly typical complaints about the fur shader. It just makes everything look a little bit fluffy rather than hairy necessarily, but either way it looks great. It's really nice seeing some slightly more unusual, non-terrarium animals being included, and this gives me a little bit more hope we're going to see say a pangolin make it into the final game as well. I don't really have much else to add on this little guy. No big problems, looks great, very excited to add it to my zoos. It's also pretty cool that only a week after Gamescom we're still getting new animal reveals. It gives me hope that we're going to see multiple new animals announced before the beta hits in September. Further into the video they begin to talk about the fence design and how much control you're going to have. And they're not wrong. Even in my limited playtime with an alpha version of the game that lacked key features, the barrier system, as it's called in the game, really did feel super fleshed out. You can really do basically whatever the hell you would like with them, within reason. There's a great shot partway through this section where they've painted a windowed fence red and attached some African style decorations, and even this relatively simple amount of work just looks cool. Everything looks cool, okay? I'm excited about Planet Zoo, leave me alone. After a brief look at animal enrichment, cute but no new information, the video rounds up talking about how detailed the simulation aspects of Planet Zoo are, and there is some pretty interesting stuff here, this one in particular, the memory system, which I don't believe we'd heard about before. Essentially, your animals will learn how their exhibits are laid out, and if something moves later on, food being the prime example, then your animals will initially go back to the old feeder spot before realising, something's up here, and searching out that new location of their feeder. This is the kind of intricate little detail which goes unnoticed by like 99% of players. Only the massive nerds out there, myself included I'm sure, would see this kind of thing or pay attention to this kind of thing. But even if you don't see it consciously, it's a kind of subconscious detail that kind of brings everything together and just adds that little extra layer of realism. They also mention how each animal in the game has its own unique nav mesh. Now nav mesh is basically a AI algorithm that allows a character to navigate a complex environment. Each animal having unique nav meshes means that they won't tackle the same area in the same way. Maybe they take different routes up a hill, or as the video says, certain animals wouldn't be able to walk up this hill that other animals could. Unfortunately, hippos aren't really built for hill climbing, so if you put their feeder at the top of a massive hill they might struggle, but if you put a lemur feeder up there, the lemur's just going to hop up and then mock the hippo at the top probably. And that's about it, folks. Quick little video today. We got a new animal, a look at a new theme, some beautiful shots throughout, and just some interesting information in general. All in all, a decent dev diary. We really are ramping up to release now, so I'm expecting, or at least hoping, that this info train keeps rolling on. There's not much point in stemming the hype just before the beta comes out, really, is there? I'll have plenty of coverage on that beta when it releases, of course, but until then, remember, dramatic finishing voice, remember to subscribe to be kept up to date with the game, and throw me a like if you enjoyed this video. Until next time, cheers, much love, as always, bye bye. Hey folks, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want to help support me a little bit more, you can do so at patreon.com/bestinslot. There's a link in the description down below. Every little really does help in times like these, but it's not at all expected, and by just watching the video you've already helped me out massively, and it makes you a pretty cool person, so well done you. Thanks for joining me either way, I'll see you next time.